Hello everybody, CW here. Got another mold in. I got another one coming too, but we'll do that one after. This one here is actually not a new one. This exact mold, of course, is a brand new one, but it's not a new mold to me. I have had this one for quite a while. I bought it as a 2-cavity back when I bought my first 450 Bushmaster, really hoping that this would be a good bullet for it, and it didn't turn out to be because it won't feed. It's just too flat of a me-plat, too broad of a nose. It won't feed at all. I can kind of get it to work in my bolt action 450, but it's just not a good profile. It's a revolver bullet. So I had that for a while, and I've got a few of them cast up, and they work really good in the 45 Colt. It's a really nice wide me-plat flat point bullet, and it's going to be a good one, I hope, in the 454. So what I did with it, because of powder coating, was I removed the gas check shank, so it's a plain base bullet now. Let me grab one and show you. Yeah, here it is. And here's some of the old ones that I cast with it before I removed the gas check shank. And this is probably vermilion. So there's that. And then here it is since I removed the gas check shank. And these are chromochrome. So I just find it at the velocity that I'm shooting these at, there's really no reason for a gas check with powder coat. What you'll find with powder coat, it doesn't replace the need for a gas check, but it raises the threshold where a gas check is warranted. Usually folks would think 1200 feet per second in a handgun, Magnum handgun cartridge, you're going to want a gas check, and that's pretty true. Once you throw in powder coating, though, you pretty much raise that up to pretty much any conceivable velocity of a revolver, and most semi-autos, most handgun calibers even, don't need a gas check when they're fired from handguns. Once you get into carbines, yeah, you can get velocities and pressures up to a point where a gas check is warranted, even needed. And also, it's not so much a velocity thing as is a pressure thing. And as your pressures go up, if you're, even in a handgun, if you got a lot of pressures, a gas check is warranted. So, don't think that because I powder coat or you powder coat, you don't need the gas check anymore. That's just not the case. But it is the case where you don't need it as low a velocity or as high a chamber pressure. You can push things a little bit harder with a plain base powder coated bullet, well into the realm that required a gas check before, I guess is a good way to say it. Anyway, so here's the bullet, and this bullet is that bullet. But I wanted to bring you along as we opened up the box and see how Lee is doing. We'll just open this up together because this came in and all I did was open the package. I haven't opened the box at all. So let's open everything up here together, and let's see how Lee is doing. The box don't want to open. I don't want to rip it. Here we go. So there's our paperwork. Oh, we got a sticker. Look at there. We got a sticker on this one. It's partially popped off, but it's on there. And 452-300. And it looks pretty good. You got a little bit of burring, but not bad. This side, I don't feel anything on this side. And actually, most of this isn't bad. There's just a little bit right there. The sprue plate looks good. The fasteners look good. A little bit of junk in there. Right in there is a little bit A little bit of burring and slag and nastiness, but that, you know, that's away from your fingers. It's not going to be a problem. So let's take our sticker off, and let's pull our sprue plate off. Try to get it off without ripping or leaving any residue. It needs to be cleaned off later. There we go. We got a little bit right there, but that's okay. Let's stick this right on our box for old time's sake. And I missed the red, white, and blue stickers, and I missed the Shirley checkout, but we did have a sticker, so that's something. A little bit of the residue off here. And then let's carefully open this up so we don't get any scratches. Let's look at our cavities. See what we've got here. Oh, Roger and Walter are awake. I got text coming on the phone. Morning, guys. Yeah, they look pretty good. Looks really good. No sharp edges. Looks like a good looking mold. All right. So let's just touch up this handle here really quick. I'll take you off screen and pull it off, and then we'll just dress that really quick because I think it's going to be good, and we'll see what we get. All right. One thing that I always do, pretty much regardless, because they always seem to either hold or create or have a little bit of a drag to them, and that is the corners. So with a file, I just dress that back at an angle. You can see where I am with the file. And I'm doing that back with an angle just to break that edge. Now you don't want to go too far because you create a new angle, a new corner, but that's enough. And then the same thing here and here, because those will hold, create, make scratches across your mold. Just take that edge off. Same thing here. Just take that edge off. It doesn't gonna hurt anything, and it's gonna make your mold stay pretty. That's it. Just take that edge off. Feel it? Hear it? It's a little bit of a burr. Okay, now we're just gonna go down the edge of this mold just to cut anything that might be a burr and round it. And these pretty much have a very small arc of movement, so you're pretty much not going to have any kind of problems with those. And this is the back side. It doesn't drag across, but we'll just make sure there's no burrs on there just by rounding it. Okay, we're nice and smooth now. We already hit this. And we already hit this, but we're hitting it from a different angle. We hit it from the outside in, we're hitting it from the inside out now. Just take that edge off. Again, not necessarily needed with this particular mold, but like I said, I like to do it on all of them just as a preventative. All right, let me get this in the vise and get this handle off. I like to clamp this nut in the vise, my small vise, and then just hit the wrench on this one, and then we'll stone the bottom side of this and see how that looks. We got their stone out here. Get our stuff out here out of our way. And just the underside. And we're just going to hit it across the whole thing. Keeping it flat. And it's touching in a few spots. I can hear it. Easier with one hand. And then the last step with this, after we get this done, is we're going to wash it in soapy water. I don't think I'm going to show you that. Everybody knows how to wash things. Just some warm soapy water with Dawn toothbrush. Dry it off. And then it's going to go... We're going to put this one on a hot plate. Because it's got the wood furniture, it just seems easier for me than to... Well, I guess I could not put it back on and I could chuck it in the toaster oven, but we're just going to use the hot plate. And look at there. So this one, it's a little bit cupped because we've got nothing touching. Nothing touched here in the middle. So that means this plate is a little bit cupped. Here's an old one. This was a really bad one. And see how much ground out and there was nothing touching in here, or just little tiny bit. This one was cupped really bad, and I replaced it. They get this brown color after you heat them. They start out like this. The paint that they use turns brown. So this was a bad one. So this, we'll have to see what happens here. See what our bases look like. But it looks to me like this one here is cupped right out of the box, which is not too good. Not going to create the best bases because there isn't a stitch of touching of anything in there. The only place it touched was, it didn't even touch back here. It touched up there on that edge, and it touched on our corners. Not really much there, but it touched here a lot. There was a little high spot there, and it touched here and here a lot. And we already hit those, so let's grind on it a little bit more and see what we get. I'll put you in speedy mode. Okay, you can see that it's not touching in the middle at all. But we've polished around the sides quite a bit. And you can see there and there were really thick and high. So sure than heck, drag that across your mold, you'd have had scratches. Don't really know why that's doing that, but it's high. It's a high spot. All along this edge, these are not cut, okay? This is just a piece of metal. It's not even steel. Just a piece of metal. And it's stamped out and then stamped to make the sizes. So it creates lots of burrs and edges. You know, the metal thickens up when it squishes before it cuts. And these are probably cut. They have to be cut. But I don't doubt that the holes are just punched. And this shape is just punched. And so it creates those edges. So you don't have to do this on many other molds. I've really never had an issue with anybody else's molds because they make them a little better. But you also don't get a 6-cavity mold for 50 bucks, you know, 45 bucks. And it used to be 35 bucks. So I don't really mind doing this. Even if you have to replace a part, you know, replace one of these, it's not that big a deal. You can get them from Titan. And I probably have another one out in the mold toolbox. I just feel something there, and I don't know why it didn't get hit, but I'll just file it off. There we go. That's as far as I'm going to go. I'm just going to wash this up and see how it casts. Worst kit we're going to do is we're going to have imperfect bases, and that's a big deal, but we'll see how bad it is. This is a gas check bullet, so we'll see just what we get. All right. Didn't really want to make a long video here. I've done this a couple times. You've seen Walter do this a couple times. Really good videos over on Walter Bunning's channel on the same thing. So we don't need to belabor anymore. But just a quick once over with this Lee mold. And I'm going to have an MP next week, 300 grain or two. And I'll do a quick video with that too. But you'll see we won't have to do any of this stuff. All right, let's get the handles on here and get it on hot plate and get it starting to be seasoned after I wash it. There we go. God bless everybody. CW out.
Woohoo! Yeah.